Let's hear you make a roar then, London, as Keanna MacInnes comes in towards the finish and looks to cement her place as the number one Brit in this event. Bang, 2:08.54.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Athlete Podcast brought to you by Sports for Champions. I'm delighted today to be joined by a Team GB Olympian, Keanna MacInnes. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
No, not at all. So yeah, obviously thanks for coming in. Really sort of big name, especially in the swimming world, to get you on board heading into schools in this academic year. So we always start really right at the very beginning. How did you get into your sport? Was there any other sports that you enjoyed, or was it always swimming?
Yeah, so I started just, I guess as most people would with swimming, just learned to swim. Like obviously it's a pretty important life skill. And I guess as I got older, it became more clear that that's where I wanted to go. Like I'd done a lot of sports when I was younger, like gymnastics, triathlon, diving. But yeah, I think like it just came to the point where I was getting injuries from other sports that were hindering my swimming ability, and my coaches were kind of like, I want to steer you this way, and yeah, it became a bit more clear.
Was it easy for you to pick swimming, or were there, I know you mentioned about your other sports, was there anything that was maybe making you go, actually, I might stick to these instead and drop swimming?
I think swimming was quite the obvious one because I guess from a young age I was like breaking Scottish records and things. So I guess just because I was good at it, it just was the easiest choice. Yeah.
So we spoke a little bit before the podcast started. You were a bit unsure about sort of joining a swimming club, if it was going to be early morning start. Now obviously with you taking that level to the Olympic level, what's your training sort of plan like for the week? How often are you in the pool? How often are you in the gym?
Yeah, so we train around 10 times in the pool. It varies a little bit week to week. And 3 times in the gym. And it's pretty much 2 hours sessions in the pool and then like an hour in the gym. We just do a mixture of different types of sets.
Yeah. How important is sort of strength and conditioning? Because we speak to loads of athletes, and that's one that always comes up regardless of sport. They all speak about strength and conditioning. How important is that for you? Obviously, such a taxing sport on the body. How important is strength and conditioning?
Yeah, I think it varies from like event to event and also individual to individual. Like I've always been pretty strong like as an individual, so for me I guess it's more about like injury prevention and like sustaining strength, because I've always been up there with the strength markers for swimming. But I guess yeah, for someone that's like a sprinter or whatever, needs to build a lot more muscle, like it's pretty much equally as important as being in the pool. So yeah, it just varies.
Yeah. So we'll touch upon injuries again in a little bit. But I know you mentioned there about obviously being strength training and stuff like that. Swimmers, we all know they digest and consume a lot of calories. What's your diet like? Are you quite strict with it? Are you a bit more lenient? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've not really got any huge concerns dietary. Like we do blood tests, we do like skin folds and things, I guess, to see how our body fat and stuff is. And I mean, I'm just pretty chilled with my diet. I live with 2 other male swimmers, so they eat so much food, but I guess just being in a flat with other athletes means that we all kind of have the same goal and we kind of cook together to share like the load. So yeah, just I guess pretty similar to a normal person would eat, but I guess maybe more.
A bit more, yeah. What's a sort of, I always like to ask athletes what's a favourite sort of cheat meal for you, and when would you have it? Some say straight after they've competed, some say like the day after. What would what's your go-to, and when do you have it?
Meal, I'd have to go pizza. I like a good pizza.
Pineapple on it?
No.
Pineapple doesn't go on pizza.
No
it
way.
definitely does, but I'll let you off. Yeah.
They've got a rule with us: 48 hours after you compete, you should be eating well to, I guess, recover. But I guess after like we've got 2 major like tapered championships a year, and that's I guess when everyone sort of like lets loose. And I think the swimmers can be known for being a bit crazy. But yeah, no, I think I'm also more of a dessert person. So yeah, maybe something like chocolatey, like a chocolate like melt in the middle pudding or something.
nice.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be me.
A gato, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people have said dessert, but I think that's one. Yeah, you can't imagine a lot of people if they were to say like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a cheat meal today." A lot of people would also get dessert as well. But I think you're the first person who's mentioned dessert, so very forward thinking. So you mentioned a little second ago there about injury prevention, and obviously you were talking earlier this morning about some injuries that you've got with your shoulder, like a reoccurring one. Just how difficult is that? Obviously, getting injured, and then obviously with yours, the uncertainty of what it actually is, the cause, and how to sort of rectify it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite tough. So it sort of came on around World Championships in 2023. I sort of just dealt with that with sort of like painkillers, just ice, that sort of thing. I then went to European under-23s that year. I actually don't really remember it much, to be honest. I don't know if I just kind of blocked out adrenaline and stuff, but whenever we speak about my shoulder, me and my coach, he's always like, we don't want you back to where you were then, because he said like just floods of tears like
Yeah,
before my races, like it was just like almost unswimmable on. And I did come away with 2 gold medals there, but
yeah, the levels,
But-
in there, one shoulder. That's what I'd be saying to the other swimmers. I'd be like, I'm going on one arm here. So,
but so yeah, I came away from that. I've done loads of scans, like no idea what's wrong with it, to be honest. But I guess just working with strength and conditioning, as I said, like a lot of work with physio. I've got quite a tailored like gym program compared to like some of the other swimmers I train with do a lot of the same exercises. I've got a very specific gym regime for myself. And then yeah, I guess just still trying to work towards it. I mean, there's definitely disappointment that comes with it. I've just been told earlier this week actually that they don't want me doing racing at the end of the year just coming up, just because they want to make sure that my shoulder's looking better into Commonwealth Games and Europeans at the end of this year, or this August next year, I guess. So yeah, I've been taken out of one of the major meets I would have liked to have done this year. So there's definitely disappointment that comes with it as well.
yeah, I think it obviously with that, it's a lot of thinking about the bigger picture, but especially when we speak to athletes, because you guys are so competitive in everything that you do, you don't want to think about, yeah, this might help me in the next 5 years, but I've got to sacrifice the next 6 months to do so. But yeah, I think it's obviously really important to sort of have an eye over the big term and the long term goals. And obviously one of your goals is going to be heading back to the Olympics in 2028. Obviously, I think when you talk about the Olympics, to speak to someone who went and competed at the absolute highest level, just tell us a little bit about what that entire experience was like, heading out there. What was it, when you go to the village, was there any sort of surreal moments for you?
Yeah, I guess it's all pretty surreal. Like from the moment like I touched the wall at our trials and I'd won the event, I'd hit the time, like it's probably one of my favorite memories. But then also I guess like going out there, being in the village, like yeah, I guess everyone says like that's one of the coolest things. Like there's so many big names, like even just within Team GB, like you're walking past like Andy Murray and like people like that just every day. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess there's the dining hall, which all the athletes are excited about. And then yeah, I guess my favorite moment from Paris, my main event's the 200 meters butterfly. So obviously I was more focused on that, but I managed to make a semi-final in the 100, which I really wasn't expecting to do. So that was one of my favorite moments, just walking out for the 100 fly, because there wasn't as much pressure on it, so I could properly like enjoy the whole environment. And like you never get to swim in a stadium that big as like as a swimmer. Like it's not really a hugely watched sport other than the Olympics, so like that was absolutely mental to me.
Obviously I know you mentioned there about like the big names. Were there any sort of people that you bumped into? I know you mentioned Andy Murray, which obviously, as a Scot as well, that must be pretty cool. Yeah, was there any big names that you bumped into just around the village that you like, oh, that was so and so, or was it very much you sort of tried to stay within sort of your team and stay focused?
Yeah, I mean, so I mentioned to you as well before we started filming, there was like a lot of COVID going around the village, so they were quite strict that we were eating like with our team, trying to stay away from like other people and not explore the village too much until we were done racing. But yeah, I guess like admiring big names from a distance. Like you're like, oh my god, that's Simone Biles. Like wow.
That's it. So there was obviously a lot of thing with like COVID and things like that. And I think it was Tokyo where they changed how the village was working, and basically as soon as you finished your event, you had to leave. Was that the same in Paris, or were you allowed to stay for the duration of the games?
Yeah, no. So we were allowed to swim for the swim. Stay.
Yeah, we did. I hope you're allowed to swim. Yeah.
We had to stay for the whole games, and because swimming's one of the first events, we were done after week 1, so we've got the whole of week 2. And as an athlete, you get 1 free ticket per day to go see any event that there's space at. So
what did you use yours on?
Pretty cool. Oh, I went to all sorts. I think my favorite was the rhythmic gymnastics. I really enjoyed that. I did beach volleyball. That was really cool as well because they built, it was right under the Eiffel Tower.
Nice.
Yeah, and they built off a good like atmosphere with the crowd and things.
Yeah, obviously scenic as well.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. So yeah, we got to, we're lucky because in swimming we do get to fully enjoy the Olympics after we're done, whereas some of the other sports maybe not so lucky if they're like at the end they need to be focusing on their events. But I do think that swimming's being moved to week 2 in LA, unfortunately. So at least I've got to experience it once.
Yeah, I mean that's what. Yeah, like the first week of obviously you do all your competing, and then the second week just going out every night. I'd imagine hitting Paris, see what, and I mean in LA as well. You want to try and get them to change that to the first week. So no, it's better to stay on the first week just for us. You know, it works out better. So a little bit now, obviously, about you've been so successful in such a short career so far, and you're by no means done. One thing I always like to ask the athletes, because it changes massively from sport to sport. So for something like gymnastics, you'll be in your prime at like 24, 25. And then once you hit 30, it's very much like, they're an old athlete now. In swimming, is there a period where you go, right, I should be in my prime between these years, or do you feel like you're in your prime now?
Yeah, I think swimming, again, it varies from male to female and event to event. It is one of probably the younger sports as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for my main event, they say, around 23, 24 is like where people are most likely to be winning like Olympic medals and stuff. So I guess I'm kind of between Olympics at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think looking into LA, I don't have any concerns about my age, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess just more experience, like more race strategy. Like I'm getting a lot better at dealing with challenges that come up, and I guess just being in the arena. Yeah,
and obviously like that, like you said, that big moment of you going out in front of like a stadium or a jam-packed, big arena, which isn't something that you do obviously every time you go on a race. Do you have any sort of heroes or idols growing up, whether that be in swimming or just in general? Is there anyone that you looked up to?
There were some smaller swimming names that I looked up to as a kid, but I guess when I moved to Stirling, which is where I train now, I trained with Ross Murdoch, and I mean, he'd maybe hate if I said this, but yeah, definitely he's definitely an idol. More just like I saw how he trained every day, and also just what he was like as a person. He's so passionate about swimming, and he's very welcoming as a person. So I guess just like he's not like let success like change him as a person. So yeah, he'd probably hate if I said that. but yeah, definitely, I think Ross.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good when people meet their sort of idols or people they've looked up to, and then they're not years on, and they say never meet them, and there's a reason why. But obviously yours is good because it's like the opposite, and you met them and they sort of like exceeded how you'd think. So we'll finish off just a couple of quick questions. How would you recommend a young person to get into swimming? Is there any sort of pathway that you'd say, like, go find a club, or what would your advice be?
Yeah, I guess the most important thing, and there's like massive campaigns in Scotland and Aquatics GB just now, like, is I guess swimming is such an important like life skill, and like it can literally save your life. So I guess just learning to swim and then when kids enjoy it, I guess that's when they might want to go into a club setting. But I guess not pushing it too early, because again, it's a big time investment both for the athlete and their parents.
Yeah. What would you be doing now if you weren't a swimmer?
God, I'd probably be in some other sport, I reckon.
Yeah. Diving?
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe would have followed through with triathlon. I would have loved to have done gymnastics, but I don't think I would have got. I would have got quite as far with gymnastics. But yeah, I think that would be my next choice of sport if I could have chosen, like, to be good at be good at one.
So you would still in sport, still hopefully going to the Olympics. Yeah. And we'll sort of finish off with, say day comes, hopefully in many years, you retire and you say, that's it, I'm done. What's one thing you want to be able to say that you achieved?
I mean, an Olympic medal would be a really nice one to be able to have under the belt. But yeah, I guess just like the experience of it all. Yeah, more international medals, more like, I guess, making connections like on the team. And I guess it's just a good thing to have in your CV, isn't it?
Well,
yeah,
a
sports
Olympic
person.
gold.
Yeah.
Sports person, won a gold medal. Yeah, and so yeah, that's pretty good. Brilliant. So that's basically all we've got time for. Thank you very much for coming in today. I really appreciate it, and you have to make sure you come and visit us again in 2028 after you've got the gold as well. Bring them all in. Hopefully win like 4 or 5, like a picture in Michael Phelps. So yeah, bring as many as you can. And so yeah, thanks for coming, and thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.